The gaming landscape is vast, filled with countless worlds to explore and stories to conquer. But sometimes a familiar adventure can feel, well, familiar. Have you ever craved something fresh, a title that breaks the mold and pushes boundaries? Buckle up, because that's exactly what we're serving up today. On number 13, we have Final Fantasy XIV. Dawn Trail is the highly anticipated expansion of Final Fantasy XIV, set to take us across the ocean to Churl, an all-new continent full of new characters to meet and territories to explore. Between the harsh wilds of the mountain ranges and expansive forests lies the golden city of Tulialal, the royal seat of Gulul Jaja. We can expect to make our acquaintance with the Momol leader as he ponders over his successor, and factions are drawn and divided into loyal allies and fierce rivals. Story aside, 2 new playable Final Fantasy XIV classes are inbound, the dual-wielding Viper and the painterly Pictomancer. Dawn Trail also expands the existing roster of Final Fantasy XIV races with the long-awaited female Hrothgar, along with additional Tribal Alliance quests, and of course, an increased level cap. On number 12, we have Homeworld 3. Homeworld, the beloved series of real-time strategy games, is getting a long-awaited third installation. Homeworld 2 was released almost 18 years ago, but in recent years the positive reception to the Homeworld Remastered Collection and prequel Homeworld, Deserts of Karak, has encouraged publisher Gearbox and developer Blackbird Interactive to work on an official sequel. Expect more tiny ships gracefully swooping through the vastness of space and a ballistic-style weapon system similar to Homeworld 1. On number 11, we have Hellblade 2. Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2 is a direct continuation of the eponymous Senua's journey following the events of Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. The troubled-picked warrior returns to overcome the darkness both within and without, but this time she's not alone. Senua has accrued a warrior tribe of her own, which she's set to lead on a brutal journey to survive the desolate cold and folkloric horrors of Viking Iceland. BAFTA Games Award winner Melina Jurgens reprises her role as Senua for the sequel, and familiar staples return, including the unnerving binaural whispers baked into Hellblade's sound design. Hellblade 2 release date: Tuesday, May 21, 2024. On number 10, we have Wuthering Waves. If you've been on the hunt for a new gacha game outside of the Hoyoverse ecosystem, you're in luck. Wuthering Waves is the latest anime game from Kuro Games, the developers behind popular spectacle fighter Punishing Grey Raven. All the gacha staples are here, including a full roster of Wuthering Waves characters waiting to be pulled from event banners, but the Souls-like combat and post-apocalyptic world gives this open-world action RPG an edge that its lighthearted rivals are missing. What's more, our Wuthering Waves GDC interview gave us a first-hand look at its Pokemon-style creature collection system and self-contained roguelike mode. Wuthering Waves has already garnered an impressive fan base ahead of its official release, and you can pre-register on the official website to hop in as soon as it launches. Wuthering Waves release date: Wednesday, May 22, 2024. On number 9, we have Destiny 2: The Final Shape. The latest Destiny 2 expansion takes us into the pale heart of the Traveler to confront the Witness in a showdown that's set to be as nostalgic as it is memorable. While the Final Shape may seem pretty, well, final, have no fear. Bungie has since confirmed that the multiplayer game is set to continue beyond the conclusion of the Light and Darkness saga. It also heralds the grand return of fan-favorite Cayde, just in time to close out the storyline. Of course, these high-stakes story developments aren't the only new additions to Destiny 2. New locations and enemies are sure to put your build to the test, though new supers and aspects for Destiny 2 classes are also inbound. Naturally, new Destiny 2 exotics join the loot tables to enhance the best Destiny 2 builds even further. The Final Shape also comes with a massive shakeup to the live service formula, as Bungie scraps the seasonal model in favor of an episodic format split into story acts. The events of the Final Shape are a decade in the making, so be sure to brush up on the Destiny 2 system requirements if you want to take part in the end of an era. Destiny 2: The Final Shape release date: Thursday, June 4, 2024. On number 8, we have Still Wakes the Deep. The Chinese Room returns to its psychological roots with Still Wakes the Deep, a first-person horror game set on an oil rig in the North Sea during the worst Christmas of Scottish protagonist Kaz McCleary's life. Our Still Wakes the Deep preview offers a taste of what to expect, as Kaz is forced to overcome the claustrophobic bowels of the Barra-D oil rig, the churning ocean depths, and the supernatural predator digging his heels just to survive. Art director Laura Dodd's pitches still wakes the deep as what would happen if Stanley Kubrick lost his mind shooting a documentary aboard an oil rig, and we're more than ready to take the plunge. Still wakes the deep release date, Tuesday, June 18, 2024. On number 7, we have Frostpunk 2. Following on from the BFTA-nominated Frostpunk of 2018, one of the best survival games out there, we're heading back into the storm for another attempt at surviving the apocalypse. Frostpunk 2 takes place in the same last city standing, in which we found ourselves in the original game. But this time, things are changing. The age of steam has come and gone, and the future lies in oil. Naturally, this leads to newer, more terrifying threats than before. We played a few hours of the Frostpunk 2 beta and loved it. You can read all about it in our Frostpunk 2 preview. There are roving gangs of knife-wielding children, protests, and more than a few broken promises. We loved it. Frostpunk 2 release date, Thursday, July 25, 2024. On number 6, we have Hades 2. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who didn't enjoy the first Hades. A pin-sharp action roguelike that saw you trying to escape the underworld. It had responsive, satisfying combat, fleshed-out characters, and some of the most gratifying boss fights we've ever seen. Well, Hades 2 looks to double down on what made the first so great, only this time you play as Melinoe, a daughter of Hades, and you are gunning for the god of time itself, Kronos. There's a Hades 2 technical test happening right now, and hopefully a solid release date coming soon after. On number 5, we have World of Warcraft. The War Within. First revealed during BlizzCon 2023, World of Warcraft. The War Within takes us into the subterranean world that lies below the land of Azeroth itself, where Xal'atath, the Harbinger of the Void, lies in wait. It's also the long-forgotten seat of the Nerubian Empire. If you've got arachnophobia, be sure to turn back now. However, we won't be consigned to the depths forever. We can also expect to explore the Isle of Dorne, the Earthen capital located just off the western shore of Pandaria. The Earthen also serves as the War Within new playable allied race, available after completing their dedicated questline. Naturally, a variety of new dungeons and raids are due to arrive with the expansion. The Blizzard is also expanding the Numworks endgame with the introduction of Delves. This latest system consists of 13 self-contained adventures to retrieve rare treasure from underground vaults as part of the Dragonscale expedition, and can be completed either solo or as part of a group. New WoW talents, quests, and epic loot await. And that's just scratching the surface. We haven't even mentioned what's going on with Anduin and Thrall. On number 4, we have Vampire. The Masquerade. Bloodlines 2. It's been nearly 19 long years, but we finally have a sequel to the cult classic blood-sucking RPG. The sequel takes us to Seattle, but the land of coffee and grunge has been given a coagulated coat of crimson as you unravel another rich mystery. Several years after it was first announced, we got a look at an extended gameplay trailer showing the game in action, and it was worth the wait. While the original is remembered fondly for its engrossing narrative, it remained rife with bugs and disappointing combat. Luckily, Vampire: The Masquerade, Bloodlines 2's gameplay plunders immersive sims such as Dishonored 2 and Deus Ex to make its vampiric fisticuffs just as engaging as its story. Following a switch of developers, the release date has been pushed back, but we're more than ready to sink our teeth in when it finally arrives. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 release date, Fall 2024. On number 3, we have Sandland. The late Akira Toriyama is best known for being the creator of the enormously successful Dragon Ball series, while in the world of video games his character designs in the Dragon Quest series and the beloved SNES RPG, Chrono Trigger, are as iconic as the games themselves. But a month on from Toriyama's passing, it's one of his lesser-known creations that's getting the multimedia treatment. Sandland was a short-lived manga series first released in 2000, but it's recently been adapted into an anime film and a series that you can now stream on Disney+. If all that wasn't enough, we're also getting a game. Sandland is an action RPG based on the story of the manga, in which a demon named Beelzebub, the main playable character, his friend Thief, and a former military general believed to be dead, join forces on a journey through the desert to locate a new water supply. This open-world game has a big focus on vehicular combat, and as you'd expect from an Akira Toriyama, it looks absolutely gorgeous. On number 2, we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The less said about the last indie movie outing, the better, but we still have faith in the renegade archaeologist. His next adventure comes in the form of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a first-person, single-player adventure game. On first impressions, it looks like we'll be following Indiana Jones' exploits in 1937, when dark forces are taking over the world. Developed by Machine Games, the folks behind Wolfenstein, The New Order and the New Colossus. Expect lots of puzzle solving and Nazi punching. All the good stuff, then. On number 1 we have Jurassic Park Survival. You'd have thought people would stop going back to Jurassic Park, given the bad press it always seems to be getting. But you can't blame the lead protagonist of Jurassic Park Survival. Set the day after the events of the original 1993 Jurassic Park, this first-person survival follows InGen scientist Dr. Maya Joshi, who was left behind when sweet old Jeff Goldblum rode off into the sunset in a helicopter. Nice, Goldblum. While movie tie-ins can be pretty hit and miss, even when the film was released 30 years ago, a nice concept has us excited for Jurassic Park Survival. So mark your calendars, gamers, because the future of gaming is looking brighter than ever. Get ready to immerse yourselves in worlds you've never imagined, to experience gameplay that will challenge your every convention, and to discover games that will leave an indelible mark on your memory.